365 is an entire platform which is quite sophisticated and does a lot of stuff, right?
Yes.
And it's probably it's hard for people to comprehend everything it can do, but Teams in a way has simplified all that. I struggle with how to talk about all this, because I think the end result to me is like using using Office and using Teams. I mean, it seems to be it's like that simple to me.
Because you have to take that giant web of products and features, and really Microsoft has they blanketed the market for just your needs. Whatever you need,
there's like
they probably have something.
800 licenses for Office 365. Do you know that?
Yeah, I have to
And
pull the report.
there's like 82 versions of Surface computers. You know, it's like, if you look at it that way, you're like, oh, this is overwhelming to me about what I should even choose or what software I should get. Like,
how many licenses did you say?
There's 800 and something.
So, and each side of one of those, how many features do you think?
How many buttons and toggles are there?
When you turn this one on versus this one, what difference do you see?
Right.
I mean, it
takes an expert. Like I feel like we are an expert of the stuff, and the stuff changes so quickly. I don't think I can keep up with it.
It's difficult.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
But you know, for a client, I think that's, you know, they need to rely on somebody that understands the stuff, and then for us to be able to take it and simplify it, because I don't think it is that complicated. Because I think there's some broad strokes,
right?
And there's some just certain definite things you need to do, and I think that's why we tried to put together this roadmap. I still struggle with the roadmap a little bit, because, you know, I'm saying you need the right tools and the right, you know, learn how to use them, and it's going to empower your business. Those 3 steps, but you know, so I kind of go back to Teams a lot sometimes, because I always feel like Teams is like is one of this killer application that's out there. You know,
can I do a really crappy analogy?
Try, yeah.
All right. So I say crappy because I know it's not going to work. But in a common scene that happens in military movies is when the new guys arrive to the battlegrounds, and like the people who have been fighting for a while, they start stripping all the stuff off of them. Like, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need it. So I think because you know what all the applications or most of the applications are doing, you're like, oh, well, this is redundant because this application can. So it's kind of like that. It's like you take the people who are fresh, the green ones. What are they called? The
greenhorns.
The greenhorns.
The greenhorns. You take
rookies.
the greenhorns, and you're just stripping off all the stuff that they don't need. It's like you're never going to use this shovel. You're never going to use this pickaxe.
Yeah.
Or your pickaxe doubles as a shovel.
Lean, mean fighting machine.
Right. So
so is that my analogy to Teams? Is like Teams is the core of like the lean, mean fighting machine. But to get to Teams, really, there's a lot more to it. Is that what
I'm saying? That the technology that makes up Teams can be used via every single app that Office 365 has to offer.
Oh, right.
So you could log into the portal.
Yeah.
Portal.office.com. And you could go into Word, and you could type up a Word document. You could choose Excel. You could choose your OneDrive, which has your personal files. Or you could just open Teams, which has all that already.
Your point is there's about 100 ways to do it, and it's all confusing, right? If you do it all these different ways, but there is one way. It just makes it simplifies it.
Right. But because you said you understand it, like to you it's simple, because you've gone through it. When you first opened Office 365, you're like, what the heck?
My experience at 365 when I first saw it, you know, because we've been doing hosted Exchange a long time ago before this, and when we went to 365, it was like the waffle, right? And the waffle had like 30 applications on it, and I was like, oh my God.
And now it's got like 80.
Now it's got so much. There's a more button on there.
Yeah,
there's takes you to like a scrollable screen. It's crazy.
No, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know?
The analogy that you have is actually really good, because it's almost to the same extent that support goes through every day with people, because people will call us every day with a problem that's easily solvable by something that they already have that they didn't know they had. So it's one of those things where it's like they show up and they say, you know, we're trying to do this thing, but it says my file's locked, and it's like file's locked, and we're so far ahead of that we almost have to take a step back sometimes and realize that nobody knows you can use Teams online, or Excel online, or do offline collaboration when you're using 365, where you don't even have I have an Excel sheet open, you have an Excel sheet open, we're in different countries and we're editing it at the same time, and there is no file lock. Like that's so far in the past, and so we have to help them to that, and then they're just like, I can't believe that this is even a feature, And we're like, oh, of course, it's easy. Here's how you do it. You just log in.
Well,
here,
I'm good. Back to the root problem here is like, we've got to educate our clients in how to do all this stuff, right? Yeah. In a simple way, right?
Yeah,
because there's 1,000 ways to attack this problem,
right? And there's 1,000 ways that problem hits us, and that's we, since support sees so many clients and we talk to them all the time, it's a reactive type environment. We have people that have a problem right then and they need it solved right now, and then we have to take that split second or minute and have to take everything that we know and figure out a way to help them right now, but then not just do a Band-Aid fix. We don't want to just tell them,
teach them to fish.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want them to just say, well, just turn it off and turn it back on. It's like, well, that might fix it now, but let's figure out what the actual problem is so that you can move forward with it. Or maybe there's this new technology that we can give you that, ticking up another license, like, journaling and retention and all that crazy stuff has been really big lately. And, it's someone says, how do I get this message back? That immediately triggers in everyone's minds out there, right, let's help them. But then at the end of this, let's get their account manager involved so that we can get them on, e-discovery and content searching so that they don't ever have to come up with this problem again. And it'll make their lives easier.
So the point, I think, it kind of came back to me, was like, we've got to figure out how to take a client from maybe they're using some of this technology right now to really utilizing it, but in a simple way. So we need to kind of help our clients figure out how to get through this journey, right? Yeah.
So do you want that file as locked message to go away forever?
Yes.
We can help you.
Yeah, exactly. and that's the thing is it's almost piece by piece. We're never going to be able to sit down with a client and say, we can fix every one of your problems with this one license.
That's a good point.
So it's piece by piece. We have to help you piece by piece.
We tried that approach.
And sometimes it just doesn't work. And
it's like a never-ending story, though, because the ship is moving, right? And the ship is changing all the time, but we're still going the same destination, right? We're still headed the same direction.
But we're upgrading the ship while we're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, we're upgrading the ship, and new things are coming out.
Less people are getting seasick.
Yeah.
It's getting better, right?
Oh, the analogies are okay.
Yeah, they're just
I'm doing
sliding out. They're sliding out.
Give me another one. Give me another one.
Right at the end. Thanks. Just softballing them up there. No, it is definitely a piece by piece type thing, and trying to tackle the entire thing with just a dump truck full of licenses, it overwhelms people so much that they're like, no, thanks. But then as soon as they need help with something, one part of that, and then we're like, hey, we got a license that'll help you fix that for the future, and they're like, okay,
So going back to our ship analogy, so Microsoft 365. Microsoft Office 365, whatever we want to call it, is like a big ship. It's complicated. It can be complicated. It's going towards the modern workplace. You don't have to know how to work everything, right? You don't know how every single piece of it works.
Sure, we don't. We learn it. We learn it.
Right.
We learn it as we go along.
And you can still operate the ship and go to the modern workplace or get to your destination with limited knowledge, or more expertise knowledge as you gain it when we show you different things and things like that, right? So you can drill down the weeds and get super complicated with it, and maybe get more expertise in it than we do if you were to spend that much time with it, which I think would be hard to do with all of our combined knowledge.
Yeah.
But so I think there's something for everybody, and I think what our job to do is try to simplify that journey, to step them through that process, to get them. Back to Steve's analogy about the greenhorn, is like, let's strip the guy down and tell him what he really needs to get his work done. Right.
The battle-hardened veterans are gonna.
Yeah.
We'll take care of you.
We got you.
I think that's a good way to conclude. Right. I think this is a good fodder because we can keep picking this up, but this is good. I think we started out saying, this podcast was about about our experience about having. Working remote,
changing the work.
We started this podcast with me not realizing we were streaming. So
Surface Pro X, right?
Oh yeah, it started with the Surface Pro X.
Yeah. So the thing is, just like in our journey, it's going to weave back and forth, but it's a complicated subject that we're trying to encompass, which I think we're just going to have to keep talking about all this.
Yeah,
cool.
It's good.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.